All right, so this is what I do for work. So this is a well house. This is the insulated building that they literally set over the top of a well just to keep it protected, and does a pretty good job. So what I do is I do the instrumentation, which is like all the hydraulic systems that might be bending tubing or running these hoses, to the safety systems, the safety shutdown system. So if the well explodes or something crazy happens, they can shut it in before too much bad goes on. So right here we have, that's the system right here. It just regulates. It's cool. But anyways, so I run all that hose. So I ran the hoses that go into this panel in the different sections. This up here is one of those safety valves. So what happens is if they need to shut it, or it needs to be shut real quickly, this panel can send a hydraulic signal to shut that thing in real quick. Also, really far down in the ground, there's another one. Actually, not on this one. This one doesn't have one. Some wells have two of those valves, one up here and then one way down in the well. Yeah, so what I did here is I ran all that tubing all the way around over there to what they call the ESD. So emergency safety device, or some people say like shutdown device or whatever. But on the outside there's a handle where if they need to shut it down without going in the building, they can shut that down. It'll send a signal because it'll open that up, and it'll allow the fluid to flow, and the fluid will drain into this barrel and the valve will shut. But yeah, I run all these hoses. I keep them neat all the way over there. I also install these devices. This is a flow indicator transmitter, and it's connected to two sides of this orifice plate. So this pipe is for gas lift, and so gas is flowing through, and it flows on this side, and this is the high pressure side. It goes through a little circle, and then it expands on the other side, and it becomes the low pressure side. So high pressure to low pressure, hence the tubes, the high and the low. And then that's for gas lift, so they pump gas back down in the well, where stuff in the well comes out, the oil comes out, over, down, and then flows outside the building. So it's kind of the process here. But yeah, I install these. This is for flow. This one's for temperature, so it goes over here. There's a little temperature probe underneath this sleeve, and then a temperature just indicator right there, so you can see what the temperature is. Here's a pressure indicator transmitter, so it transmits to the computer. That's why they got the antennas, so they can long range see. Then here's a local pressure indicator. It doesn't have any electronics. You can just see what's going on. Sometimes I'm the one who installs all this, what they call jewelry, because it's like shiny and nice. But all those little valves. And these gauges, they also communicate, and they're for what they call the annulus gauge. So it's you got the inner annulus is on the top and the outer annulus on the bottom. So be a little bit different pressure between the two. And yeah, so I install those. Right now, I'm waiting on them to call me back so that we can test this one. So I want to use my heart field communicator to trick this valve, or to tell it to do something. I'll tell it to say, hey, pretend like there's 1,000 PSI in there, and it will go to 1,000, and then it'll transmit, and then in the control room, in a building way far away, all the way down there, it'll be able to see what this gauge says, and then also in a place somewhere else, they call it automation, wherever automation is at, they'll also be able to see this gauge move. So we're gonna just test it and make sure everything's communicating correctly and that it's working before we bring the well online. Like obviously you can see it's at 0 psi, 0 psi. This well is not flowing right now. It's not flowing. So yeah, I'll do that one next, and then it should be done. Prior, the other day, we did all these. We did that pressure and that flow and that temperature. And yeah, that's what I do for work. It's a day in a life.